Well, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're
How
back.
is everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's all right. I'll get you adjusted there. We'll get you on screen here. It's been a little bit since we've seen you. Thank you all for waiting for us or waiting for me, I guess I should say, to get back. You had a nice little week off as well. Somehow we planned the same week off. I'm not sure
I don't know
how that worked. I don't think we could ever get that lucky again. But, hey, it worked, and we are here now. We are back, and thank you again for everything. We got a good amount to talk about today.
We do. And first off, let's start off by saying Asher.
Yeah! Congrats.
Gets his first win Friday night at Whiteland Raceway Park.
Yes, he does. Congrats to you, Asher. That was awesome. Did you see the picture of him in standing on the top of that podium?
Yeah.
that needs to be framed and put up. That was phenomenal.
He goes out, qualifies P1.
Yep.
He was like 3 seconds faster than the next guy.
Quick.
Then his heat race, wins it. So he sits on the pole for the feature and wins it.
Nails it, man. Nails it. Gotta love
You gotta love nights like that.
Got Jason on here. Got Caleb on here. Good morning, everybody. I'm back. I don't look that tan.
No,
I really don't. Like, I kept I was putting the 50 on all week because that's what the kids had. And I was just like, yeah, you know what? Here, who cares? Who cares? So big shout out real quick again to Uncle T for getting us out there and having his dream come true. He built a house out in Key Island, and we got sharing that last week. That was an absolute blast. Had a great time out there. No racing out in Key West. Well, I'll tell you what. Where we used to stay, and Daniel would tell you this, back when we were kids, this tells you how deep it is in my blood here. We stayed at this one house back in the day when we were younger that was on like a little roundabout deal.
Okay.
So we used to race around that roundabout on our bikes.
Why not?
There.
Why
And
not?
every time we rode around it this way, we were like, hey, this is where we used to race right here. So there was a little bit of racing. I sat in the very nice outdoor area, watched all of Sunday. Ashley was like, are you going to do anything on Sunday? I was like, no, I'm just watching racing all day long because we had the F1 race last Sunday. Good, a pretty decent race.
It was a decent race.
The last 10 laps, phenomenal. Up until about lap 60. It was a little slow. Today, the F1 race was really good. I think that was a really good race out there.
There was some good mid-pack battling going on today.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's really where you get your solid. That's where that F1, that real good racing is going to come from there. So then right after that F1 race, I got to watch the IndyCar race, and I mean we'll go back to it, but we'll say. We'll go Ganassi sweeping the weekend there, and we got to see our boy Felix.
Yes.
Take a win, baby.
I was pumped on that.
Oh, I'm running around. I was like, Ashley,
I almost
Felix is
texted
going to
you.
win. Felix is going to
I almost texted you. I was like, no, I'm not going to bother him. He's on vacation. So.
I'm like sticking my head out like, oh, Felix is going to do it. Go, Felix. Go, Felix. Like everybody in Key Island, they might not know who Felix Rosenquist is. They know he run that. Well, they didn't
know who he was, but they know who he is now.
Yeah, exactly. They're Googling who the heck is Felix Rosenquist. So I was absolutely screaming out there, just having an absolute blast watching that one. And then, boom, here comes NASCAR. So it was, I mean, a phenomenal weekend of racing. I'm trying to think who won that NASCAR race because I did head out to the beach a little bit later. I had to take off there. I'm sitting there and I can hear the waves crash and I had to go.
It was Harvick.
Harvick, thank you. Yep.
That's who I picked.
So, man, just a great weekend out there.
Hey, good morning from the UK, watching the V8 supercars from Australia.
I was going to say we got guys watching F1 here from the UK. We got Australia watching the V8 supercars. Those supercars were pretty fun, man. They are a pretty good time to watch there. So
yeah. So last weekend there was a lot of good racing going on, and then let's go ahead and advance to this weekend.
Yeah,
and another full weekend of racing, and it started Wednesday with the NASCAR All-Star race, and we'll get to that when we talk about NASCAR. I want to jump right in real quick and hit the IMSA race yesterday. Just highlight it a little bit. Pippo Durrani and your boy Felipe Nasser.
Nasser, baby, coming back. He real quick because he got shut down.
Yeah.
He's coming back from COVID. He's coming back. He had to get over that. He tested positive. He was good then. He had his negative test, and he's back in that race last night. So go ahead.
And we're going to change the name of Sebring from now on to Durrani Land. Pippo Durrani owns Sebring. That dude, in the last 4 races, he's won 3 of them there. He gets in that car, and now let's say, not to mention, he's got a great car underneath him. That Wayland Cadillac is a machine. And he got out there and never looked back, and they built up, I think they had, I want to say, a 10-second lead maybe. And, they come in for the driver change. Nasser drives the last stint, goes out there, seals the deal for him. And, I mean, there again, if you don't watch IMSA racing, you need to. You need to check it out. That race yesterday was great. You had great battles in DPI. You had great battles in GTLM. And you had great battles in GTD. And speaking of GTLM, for everybody else that runs GTLM besides the Corvettes, it's game over. The
It's game
Corvettes
over, baby.
dominated that race yesterday. I mean, absolutely dominated.
And that's fun to watch, just that multi-class racing.
It is.
Because there's a lot more going down to it than you would really think, because obviously you've got guys that are a lot slower than those LMP cars, and those guys really have to work because it's not iRacing where you can just run them over, run them off the track. You got to safely get around these guys, but at the same time, you got to do it quick. You got to do it, and you got to maintain that speed because that guy's coming behind you. And he's coming quick.
Another thing I like about the IMSA and that style of racing is you hear a lot of names that you've seen come from IndyCar and other series.
Absolutely.
Like yesterday, you had Spencer Piggott running LMP2, which Spencer had run some prototype cars before he got into IndyCar. Spencer fits in one of those prototype cars. He's smooth. He's consistent lap after lap in those cars. He hits his marks. That's where he needs to be. That's where he needs to stay. That's where somebody needs to put him. Wayne Taylor Racing needs to look at Spencer Piggott. Penske. If you're looking for a solid driver to get in and get the job done, Spencer Piggott would be your guy.
I think Wayne Taylor's pretty set, though. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Wayne Taylor's got a stud team.
You look at Penske, and you could say, how much longer does Juan Pablo have in that seat? How much longer does Castroneves have in that seat? Will they go to another team? There's a good possibility.
Maybe.
They're getting up there. They're getting old in age.
But they're still competitive.
Well, Juan Pablo's starting to eat. It seems like he's starting to get a little more pasta in his diet than what was in there
Well, one
before.
thing I will say, too, is right now the Penske Acuras, they're a little bit outgunned. They're not running with the Mazdas and the Chevys. I mean, They were in the mix last night for, I wouldn't say the win, but they were in the mix, and I think that's mainly just because of the drivers they have.
Right.
I think if you took other drivers and put them in that car, they wouldn't perform as well as what Juan Pablo and Elio's doing in those cars. So.
Exactly. And that's something that Juan Pablo, he's used to, whether it was multi-class or being an F1. I mean, he's used to going around slow cars. I mean, that's something that with that knowledge and everything really helps those guys progress through that series there. And you see guys like, I don't know if you mentioned Ryan Hunter-Reay. He has gone out there when he can make it. You know what I'm saying? So he is looking into that. Pagano, he has gone into there. So like you said, just it really fits that. Jimmy Johnson has made it clear that he would be looking into sports cars here.
So since you brought up Ryan Hunter-Reay and Pagano, you want to jump into IndyCar?
Absolutely. There. So let's start with last week because
Okay,
I can't go without talking about our boy Felix. So first, you can't deny Dixon his glory for starting off the weekend going 3 straight.
Dude, you can't deny that Ganassi team anything right now. That Ganassi team's the strongest team in the pits.
And that is something I want to talk about definitely in this IndyCar segment. And I don't want to jump ahead too fast, so let's keep on this. But I want to talk about that Honda Power. And I don't want to go too far into that yet. But so Honda Power really working right now for Ganassi. It looks like they are on it. And you know what makes me happy about Ganassi? It's all three. It's not just
It's not
two.
just Dixon. It's not just Rosenquist. It's
Erickson's out there and he's
running
getting
good.
top 10s right now. That's not what we're used to seeing with that third Ganassi car. Right on, dude.
He's looking a lot better than what he did when he ran for it was Smith Peterson at the time.
Exactly.
Smith Peterson at the time.
Right.
It wasn't no McLaren or Arrow. And now is that saying that was the team or the car, or is that saying, it was Marcus? I think it was a combination of both in that situation.
Marcus got a podium last year with that team.
He did.
So,
but he wasn't as consistent as he has been now with Ganassi.
And I think that is the team.
Yeah.
I do really think. I think you look at who's behind the scenes in that team, and
Dario.
you've got.
That's all you got to say, Dario.
And I don't know if Dario is just with Felix or if he's kind of progressing both of these guys.
I think Dario's the guy they all kind of go to and lean on. Even Dixon. I mean, because you figure Dario and Dixon
they're
were
just like
teammates
best friends.
for years.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think, if there's times where Dixon's struggling or something, he'll go to Dario and be like, hey, man,
You got anything?
what can I do different to make up the ground, and that's where him and Dario will sit there and talk. I mean, what better person to lean on than multi-time champ, race-winning driver Dario Franchitti?
Absolutely, there in multiple series at that.
Yes.
So, I mean, very, very good point there is that the back end of this, man, is such a solid team right now.
It is. It
and that
really
Honda
is.
Power there with them is working fantastic. You look down the line and you see Felix. Now, he's not having the best year. He had that win then come Sunday, which was phenomenal. I mean, he out there, he really fought for it. And that's a guy, I mean, he is going to grind.
Oh, yeah.
He is going to push that car to its absolute limits. And he's going to throw it into a spot where and we saw that at Texas, where Dixon, his teammate's not going to put it.
The Iceman.
Exactly. Where Felix got impatient, he went and tried to go above Hinch at Texas, he lost it. So Felix kind of learns a little, he reels it back, and man, what he win that? Do you remember? It was like 4 or 5 seconds. I think.
He had a big.
He
gap
had
on
a good
him.
lead there.
But and then to me, Road America suits Felix. It suits his driving style. Coming from Formula E and all the European, right. Because Road America was originally designed to run F1.
Right.
So it's a 4.5 mile long track. There's a lot of technical turns on Road America. If anybody's ever been to Road America or familiar with Road America, especially Canada Corner, that turn right there bites so many people in the butt because you're honking, you're screaming,
You're honking.
coming down to Canada Corner, and then Canada Corner's a tight right hand 90-degree turn, so you're downshifting on the brakes and you're trying to get through there. So I really think that track suits his style, and I think that's going to do a lot of good things for Felix and build up his confidence. And I don't think that's the only win he's getting this year. I think there's going to be more. And
I want to keep going on Felix because if you look into this, you look at that, then you see like what is coming up. So you have, is there any? Yes, there is. Oh my goodness, what's the next one before Mid Ohio?
Yes,
we got Mid Ohio coming up.
I think he's going to run good there.
For Felix.
I think he's going to run good there.
May have somewhat of a struggle here at Indy. Come the 500. May have. I don't think he got that. I don't think he does. Top 10, as long as he doesn't get caught up in something. Last year he got caught up in something. He was looking for a top 10.
I think Felix is really.
I don't think he fights for a win.
Confidence on the ovals.
I don't think he fights for a win in the 500 this year. Not this year, just yet.
Not unless he's in the right place at the right time. Like if a pit strategy and cycles out. And
exactly.
I can see that happening.
But you look after the 500,
and that's Felix's playground.
Exactly. So with that win, Felix is setting himself up, and I said it at the beginning of the year. I said it at the end of last year. Felix is going to set himself up this year for a title shot. I think him and Scott go at it the end of the year, and it comes down to Laguna Seca. it comes down to St. Pete is the final race of the year. Look at what Felix did last year.
The only reason I'm going to disagree with that is, even though, and this is why I'm going to say that, is because what he's already done on the ovals. I think that's going to come back to haunt him for that championship
and you're
battle.
right.
That's the only thing I'm going to say on that. Besides that, I agree.
Because his bad finishes.
The latter half of the season, Felix is going to string together some runs.
You do have to hope, and everybody in the field has to hope Dixon has a couple DNFs. You have to hope Dixon gets caught up in a couple accidents and ends up with a couple DNFs
and if
to
that
really
happens,
pull you through
that'll play right into Felix's game.
So you look right now, and it's hard to say that the four guys, if you looked at a four-way battle for the end of the season, because we can almost start talking about that now. I mean, you really can. Is you look at it, you got Felix, you've got Scott, you got Joseph, you got Simon. Those are the four, I think. You want to throw a wild card in there, you got Graham Rahal fighting for it too. Graham Rahal, that was a wicked accident there last week on Sunday. Dad and I were watching that. I thought he was broken leg, something, an inch over. And, man, there's some damage there to Graham Rahal, but he escapes luckily there. But Will Power was a wrecking ball last week.
Those would be the four names I would come up with, too.
But I said, I think you do have to throw Graham in there as a wild card.
And you might even throw Marcus in there as a wild card.
He's been consistent, but I don't think Marcus gets that win this year. That's my thing.
See, I don't know because,
again, it had to go on a strategy deal.
Like you said, the latter half of the season plays into Felix's.
And Marcus is just that same type of driver.
Exactly. So I can see Marcus getting that win this year.
Right, and that is a good point there. I agree there. So
let's comment here. Bill Roberts, DRG Gaming. Well, welcome, man. I'm glad you're liking what you see, and continue to watch. So we're gonna continue to discuss some IndyCar. We're gonna get some NASCAR, some F1, so probably some iRacing. So hang out.
All over the board here, but
Newcastle, Indiana, in the house.
Bill Cook, yay! Yeah, I knew that. Man, that guy, he is such a good guy. He's on every broadcast. He's loving it. I love it. Thank you, Bill Cook, for joining in.
Let's dive into this week's IndyCar racing
doubleheader
at Iowa, short track.
So real quick, two doubleheaders 2 weeks in a row.
They've ran 5 races in 15 days.
Exactly. These guys are starting to get a little worn out, and they're saying,
well, that's why they get a little bit of break before they go to Mid-Ohio.
This aero screen's hot, and you're battling the heat of the summer right now.
You see that duct they put on there now?
Yep. And Graham said last night to talk about that, it was a little sandy in there. Yeah. You got a little gritty in that.
Well, I mean, short track, you're getting, a lot of marbles and stuff like that. And
it seemed like they were going so slow. I know they're not.
What's up, Brooks?
But the camera, do you think that? It was like they were only about half throttle that whole, it was like, you're just used to seeing that IndyCar going.
Some shots, it did look like they were slow. And
I know they're not.
These guys, at Iowa, they were doing a lot of work. You figure, like we said, short track. So, they're downshifting in the turns and then having to shift back up coming in the straight. So, they're working on their tools in the car. Those drivers were really busy last night, and it's hot. And you have that aero screen. But speaking of the aero screen, Friday night, the first race of the doubleheader, I'm going to tell you right now, if it wasn't for that aero screen, Colton Herta's nose would have been right through VK's helmet.
Oh, his neck, man. It would have, absolutely. Or his
tire
or something.
The
aero screen proved it's...
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then you almost see Herta get into the catch fence.
If he would have gotten the catch fence, it would have got ugly. But thankfully, with that safer barrier, and you have like that 8-foot gap, between the actual, what we see as the wall on the track, but actually the wall sitting back about 8 foot behind the safer barrier. So that little gap right there saved him from getting in the catch fence.
Right. So now, here's my question. What the hell was Herta thinking? It's like, it looks like that looked like iRacing right there. It's like, I'm going to get this start.
Well, they went into VK's cockpit, on that start, and
Pagano's
in all fairness, VK did spin the tires and had to, get out of the throttle a little bit and get it to catch. So, and Herta had a run coming.
Oh, yeah.
But here's my thing. And I understand on starts, I've been in that situation. You're up on the guy's back bumper. You're trying to get as close to him as you can for that start and get by him. But, Herta kind of laid back and got a run going.
Oh, yeah.
And didn't anticipate where, somebody checked up, somebody spun on the start, whatever, like VK did. And that's what you get. But now, I'm not blaming it all on VK. Part of it is his fault for spinning the tires. You shouldn't do that. But I don't see VK back in that car next year. I'm not even sure if he finishes out this year in that car.
Carpenter's having an expensive season overall, because then you look at yesterday's race and Ed ends up out of that race.
Yeah.
So that they're taking a hit come the pocketbook on this one. So it's very it's becoming a very expensive season for them, and you begin to wonder if you're Ed Carpenter, should you put Connor Daly in that seat?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was just getting ready to discuss that. So Friday night qualifying, who gets the pull? Connor Daly for Carlin Racing.
Yeah, I was going to say, not Carpenter.
Who was the first person over there to congratulate him?
Was it Carpenter?
Ed Carpenter.
Congrats, dude.
Going to the opposing team.
Yeah.
And went over there, and Ed's a classy guy, period.
Right.
If you've ever met Ed Carpenter is a class act. I don't have a negative word to say about Ed Carpenter. He's a good guy. But like you just said, I think you go to Carlin and say, hey, I'll give you VK to finish out Connor's rides in your car, and I'll give you some money or something. But I want Connor in my car full time.
Something, dude.
And I think that's the smart decision for Ed Carpenter Racing, is to put Connor Daly in that car.
How many more
full-time.
ovals do we have? I think for the most part, outside of the 500, two?
Maybe.
So really, he's with Carpenter
for
most of the rest of the season. But like I said, you really begin to wonder if he made the right decision in pulling, because we saw in Texas, Ed Carpenter very upset with VK.
Yep.
Visibly upset at the end of that race.
Livid.
VK comes back, has a decent race the next week.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of right back. He's showing that he's almost looking like Verstappen. He just wants to. It's checkers or wreckers. I mean, and you're not gonna win.
Yeah.
You could, but not running like you are
and
right
as a
now.
as a rookie, trying to maintain and keep a ride, you don't want to be out there tearing stuff up every weekend.
No, absolutely not.
And as a car owner, you don't want a driver that's out there tearing stuff up every weekend.
Nope.
So that relationship's not going to work out if it continues to be like it is. And like we just said, I think Ed goes and, hey, Connor, you're my guy. Long as you keep because you notice Ed's car was in Connor's livery this weekend. The U.S. Air Force with the teeth on the nose and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So that deal come to Ed Carpenter Racing from Connor Daly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
So as long as Connor can keep that sponsorship deal going, it's a win-win for Ed Carpenter in my mind. You put Connor Daly in that car full-time.
Absolutely there. And I agree with Brandon here. He says VK needs a good mentor. It's that you go back to where Rosenquist is. He's got the best mentor in IndyCar right now.
I think he can, Brandon, because I don't think I think his deal with Carlin and his deal with Carpenter's only a 1-year deal.
So
I think that's why it was one of those partial deals, because I think he got the deal with Carlin first, didn't he? And then he got the
he got the Carpenter deal first, and then he got Carlin. Yeah, because he was looking for a full-time deal, and then Carpenter came to him to run the road courses.
What up, Jay Stump?
So we look into we're looking down the paddock here in IndyCar. We've talked about Ganassi.
Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Let's talk about Andretti.
That's exactly what I was going to go to. We talk about Honda Power. That's what I was going to.
And let's start out with Ryan Hunter-Ray. Friday night, you come into the pits, you come out, you bang second gear, you spin it, you hit the wall, you keep going. So then we'll advance to last night. You come out of the pitch, you hit second gear, you spin it, you bang the wall, and you're out of the race. I mean, you look like a total rookie.
And what's his name? Michael, not happy there.
No.
Visibly.
You seen when they, if that mask wouldn't have been on, you could have actually seen his facial expression.
Oh yeah, you would have said what you would have seen what he said.
Yeah.
There would have been no facial expression.
But
That
you
would have
could
been
just
all
tell
words.
by the eyes that he
Yeah.
was not happy.
So, and then you look at it, and it's not a Honda deal, because that's what I'm looking down the thing. Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan, running solid right now.
Ganassi.
Honda power. Ganassi, top of the board. Honda power. What's going on in Andretti?
Andretti looks
You've got
garbage
5
this
cars.
year.
You've got 5
I
cars.
think that's his problem. I think he is spread too thin. I think you're trying to, be this big entity in IndyCar. I think if you want to go out and win races and win championships, you need to go to a 3-car team and leave it at that.
Not even a one-off there with that?
Maybe
Even
like
fourth?
Indy. Like Indy, you throw
Gotcha.
in another car, another 2 cars. But I think you're trying to, it's like if you have a raft and it springs a leak. You put a patch on it. Okay, it springs a leak over here. You're putting a patch over here. Here's another leak. You're putting a patch over here. I just think you're trying to do all this with this 5-car team, and it shows in your performance. Rossi has not performed good all year. He didn't have a bad weekend this weekend.
2 top 10s.
Right. Hurt has been hit and miss.
Ryan Hunter-Ray.
Marco does what Marco does. And then Ryan Hunter-Ray. I mean, I honestly think if you had a 3-car team, you would see Rossi up there competing for a championship. And you know that I'm not a Rossi fan, but I think that he's
shown
struggling.
he's a driver.
Yeah.
So there is something going on behind the scenes. And Brandon asked the same question I was just about to. 3 cars. Who do you pick? I take Rossi, Herta, and
I find me another
Veach.
driver. Yeah, Veach. There you go.
I think I go Rossi, Herta,
yeah,
Veach.
because I forgot to mention Veach when we was talking about the drivers.
Because then you got Marco and Ryan Hunter-Ray that are gonna see their wayside, or even Harvey, because Harvey's part of that kind of that one-off team. So
and Harvey's been driving, dude. Harvey has been driving.
But I think Veach is that guy on that team, and we saw Texas. We saw him really, and I'm excited to see that kind of that full-out throttle, because Veach didn't have a good weekend here at Iowa. But
No.
I think that short track racing here, it was a different thing here for these guys.
Dude, that track right there is Joseph Newgarden's playground.
It is, yeah, exactly.
It's his playground.
Right.
He takes to that track like a duck takes to water.
So, and maybe if Harvey's not in the position he is, because I just think Harvey puts it in places he doesn't need to. He's kind of one of those guys. He's gonna gun it there because that spot's open, which I'm not taking it away from him because it's open.
And I think part of that is, and the reason he does that sometimes, that's like any other driver that's in a small team like that, looking to secure a bigger ride maybe, or bigger sponsors. They're going to take those risks to try to get that better result because they know that's what they have to do to get that result.
Right, and that's what Herta did last year. I mean, we saw him do those things, and it worked out for him. And I just don't know if it's really working out too well. I mean, we've seen Harvey have some good finishes, but at the end of the day, he's had a couple DNFs too. And
Herta's kind of like the Leclerc of IndyCar.
yeah, I think that's a good way to put that there. But so I don't know. I think Veach has shown that glimpse of that driver that could be, but I don't think they're giving him.
I think he's a great guy.
I don't think they're giving him the opportunity in that team, though. He's that data collector. He's
and I can see that too because, like we said, with the 5-car team,
you're gonna have that.
You're spread too thin. If you're bringing a rookie into a 5-car team, how are you really gonna have the time or the mentoring to really progress and bring this rookie driver along? You don't, because you got 4 other teams you got to worry about.
Absolutely, yep, 100% there.
So I think that's where Veach has struggled since he's been at Andretti. Because Michael doesn't have the time to go over there and mentor him.
No.
You know, you used to have Brian Herta, which is Colton's dad.
Right, but where do you think he's putting
He's in Colton's pit now for
Right.
everything. So, you know, you already have, now you have that young driver, Colton, which Veach has already been there a few seasons. I think if you take and put Veach at like a Ganassi or maybe even in
Ryan or
Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan, because I think they need a third car. I really do. You know, Sato's getting up there in years, and he's not going to be around, maybe another year, maybe
year or two, I could see, yeah.
So you got to start looking.
Yep, I agree there. So, just overall, though, a good weekend in racing. Penske takes out the broom and brings the sweep.
Let's talk about that. Pagano, last to first.
And last to third.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, dude.
You know, I think Newgarden would have won Friday night if it wouldn't have been for that yellow, and he got kind of hung out. He definitely had the fastest car. I mean, he proved that last night.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew he was going to win last night because I knew he was pissed after losing Friday.
That's an understatement there.
So I knew he was going to come out on a mission last night, and he did. And can anybody stop Joseph Newgarden at Iowa?
It's like you said. I mean, that's his playground there, man. He sees that on the schedule, and he's just like, heck yeah, there's a win.
And what's the female commentator for IndyCar? She was interviewing him and said, Joseph, why are you so good at Iowa? He goes, I really don't know, but I wish I could put it in a bottle and take it to every track with me.
Yeah, exactly. No joke. I bet you would. And that's like what the Paul Tracy and those guys were talking about yesterday. Is it's not just with Penske that he's been good here.
No,
he was good with Carpenter here.
Yeah,
he was good with Fisher. Yeah, exactly. So. That the only one to stop Joseph is Joseph.
You're exactly right. Or a yellow flag.
Seeing that, I don't know there at Iowa, yeah, but I mean, you saw Dixon coming up there.
Yeah,
Dixon was going to make a move, but that's where I think Dixon's he needs that longer track. He needs that flat out style of racing that really fits into him, or that road course. But as far as the oval comes, I think Dixon's better at the super speedways, if you will, of the IndyCar. He just has that awareness, man, that knowledge.
He
of
does
where you're at on the track, and
you put those cars on a short track and everything happens so fast.
Yep.
I mean, you got to think. Everything's split second, and if you make that wrong decision,
how often are you not around another car? That's the other exactly.
And here's another thing I want to discuss too. You've seen Alexander Rossi. Both nights had decent runs, but they were talking about, because I believe it was Friday night when he had a chance to battle for the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul, you heard PT kept saying, Rossi stays down on the bottom. He won't get up in that upper groove. He goes, you need to be able to get up in that upper groove and get a run. He goes, Rossi will not come up off the bottom. So I don't know what it is with Rossi and why he won't come up off the bottom. Maybe he's scared to get up in that upper groove.
Bit him too many times before or something.
I don't know.
Maybe that car wasn't handling up there for him.
But I agree with what PT was saying, because you watched all these other guys when they were making passes, they were getting a run on the outside. Now, if they were by themselves coming into the turn, they were coming high, and then they were dropping it low, kind of apexing it and then going back high. But Rossi, if he was with another car, he would not get outside. He'd just stay down low.
Right. And like you said, that momentum, you wouldn't think, these cars have acceleration, yeah, but when you're going side by side the same speed, you got to start using momentum.
You do.
It turns into a dirt street stock where you've got to use that outside momentum to go.
You do. So, yeah, another great weekend of IndyCar racing. I have no complaints, really.
Absolutely there. So
what do you want to jump into next? NASCAR?
Did we already talk F1?
No, we haven't talked F1.
So you go last weekend, like I said, the first 60 so laps, kind of like that mid-pack racing, and then all of a sudden, Lando Norris, man, hits the boosters.
He's a stud.
Hits the boosters, man, and just ignites it and just flies up the field. He goes from like
stud.
8th, 17 seconds back to like 5th, I think it was where he finished. I mean, just taking prisoners on the way, dude. It was absolutely incredible watching him run up through the field in those last 10 laps.
Not to try to fast forward, I'm anxious for next season because I can't wait to see Norris and Danny Rick together. I think that relationship's going to be great.
Yep.
Because Danny Rick's he's a clown.
Oh,
yeah. He likes to have fun and everything like that. And you know, Lando's a young kid, and you've seen him do some goofy stuff too.
Oh, he likes to have fun. Yeah.
So I think those two, that relationship's going to be great. And I think McLaren next year is going to have a great 1-2 punch.
Absolutely. And right now, I mean, not to jump back and forth, but we see McLaren fight today.
Yeah.
Sainz getting points. I'm not sure if Norris got into the points today or not, but still, I mean, these guys are fighting Ferrari right now. I mean, McLaren is fighting Ferrari right now for third. And it's very impressive. For a while there, they were fighting Red Bull for second. I mean, it could really stick out like that because Albon is not. I mean, you've got the car. You're doing better than Gasly was in the big team Red Bull car, but you're still not out there performing like I really thought you would. Now, granted, you were going for a win and Hamilton took you out. But outside of that race there in Austria, I don't think you really had a solid run. Like today, I think he finished? Like 7th or 8th?
Who?
Albon.
He finished 5th.
Okay. So he got into the top 5 today. So
North didn't get in the points today.
I didn't think so.
13th
there. So he had a rough day. He was back in the back. And a lot of these guys had to change tires. So they pit on lap 2 here today because they go from those wets to the slicks.
Yep.
Like that. So really interesting to see guys pit on lap 2. But that starts the run. And then we see Haas kind of make a...
Dude, Magnussen was up in like...
Third. He was sitting third, and Grosjean was fourth.
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't have my glasses on at the time. And I looked up there. I was like, that's not right. So I go grab my glasses, put those on. I was like, wow.
Right. Where did they end up finishing today? Because I think Haas got a point.
They got 2 points.
They both finish in the...
No, Magnussen finished 9th, so it's a 2-point position. And then Grosjean ended up finishing 15th. Romain, you know.
But, I mean, still, so that's, I mean, showing promise there because...
Better than what they have been, because it's been horrific.
Did Leclerc get a top 10?
No.
So Ferrari only scores the one.
They got 8 points.
8 points with Vettel.
Got 6th.
Did Vettel still get the top time? Because I know Vettel was on top of the board with the top time. Does it show it on there?
It doesn't show it on there.
Okay, so that's something I have to check there. Okay, so there you go. Ferrari, man, having a rough and really starts to make you wonder. You had this engine that was impounded last year. You were fast last year. This year, you're not on pace with last year's car.
No, not at all.
F1 doesn't make you say, what's up? Something's up here.
But, you know, let's break down that Ferrari team real quick. You know, and I know you're a big fan. I'm not sold on him yet. Leclerc, he hasn't proved it to me yet. You know, you look at last weekend, what a stupid idiot move you pulled.
Oh,
that was stupid. That was absolutely stupid.
That's what when I said caption this, somebody put it the best with it in this Charles Leclerc voice.
I'm like, stupid.
I'm so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, what were you thinking?
That was the Verstappen Daniel Ricciardo incident at Red Bull right there. That is exactly when you look at that. That is no different than Verstappen just going whoom, right into the back of Ricciardo that day.
Yep.
I mean, seriously.
But and then you take this weekend, and we'll break down, you know, Ferrari, and dude, Vettel goes out there and does what he needs to do. Leclerc didn't look so good again.
And at first, it didn't look like Vettel was going to be able to do that. They had that rough pit stop there, and they held him. It's like, go, send them. What are you just standing around here for? So interesting there to see that. But yes, he does. He got 4th there, right?
6th.
Okay. So ends up 6th place there today, and he needs something.
He does.
But I think he needs a little more than that. He needs a podium. I mean,
he does.
He really needs to get. We've seen Leclerc in one podium position this season with that 2nd place finish. But man, I just think really makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes there.
Yeah, there's more than what they're telling us, and then so with Ferrari, you're struggling right now. Your car is not where it needs to be. Your car is not competitive, and I hate to say it because I'm a Ferrari fan, but your car is not competitive. I think the only reason that you got a 6th place today was because of Sebastian Vettel. He drove the wheels off that car today, and like I said, he did what he needed to do, and he drove that car for everything it had. But so then you advance to next year. You're not going to have Vettel. You're going to have Leclerc and Sainz.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not real sure if you don't put Sainz as your number 1 driver.
I think it's that situation next year where it's kind of like McLaren this year, where you're not going to clearly state that Sainz is your number 1 driver. It's kind of assumed. It's kind of implied that. But at the same time, you don't want to take away from Leclerc that competitive edge or that that slight bit of ego that you do need in F1.
That's maybe you need to knock him down just a little bit, because some of these moves he's making, like last weekend, that move, you totally screwed your team out of making any kind of points.
Oh, that was a hard week too.
So that's those decisions right there. You're not thinking about the big picture. Right. You're just trying to be a hero move real quick, thinking, okay, I'm Charles Leclerc. I'm gonna get in here. And
I'm Charles Leclerc. I wish I had a better camera zoomed in. I'm Charles Leclerc. That was perfect.
And you just shove it in there where you shouldn't have been.
Right. No, I'm with you there.
And I'm not saying the kid doesn't have potential to be great. He does. But you just need to start thinking about your actions better.
Yep. No, I'm with you there. Absolutely. You got to start really trying. And at the end of the day, it's like you do have to put a little bit of that team into perspective, because you do run for a team. You run with a team. So you do have to play that. But that's where he needs to figure out that. I mean, you look down the line, that wouldn't have worked with, say he was Kimi's teammate. That wouldn't have worked.
No, because Kimi would have come in the pitch and choked him.
Exactly. So
it'd have been like Homer and Bart. You'd have seen.
Why, you little?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I do. I think that's where we see that. But.
Okay, we'll talk about that, Brandon. The Bottas jump. Yes, he did jump. I mean, if you watched it, he clearly jumped. He rolled, and then he stopped, and then the light went green.
Right, that's what we saw with Vettel.
But if you move, that's a jump.
What was it, Spa last year?
Yep.
When you saw Vettel just give that little bump right there.
And if you move out, if you roll out of that box whatsoever, that's a jump.
Right, exactly.
Even though he stopped and waited, he still jumped.
Yep. So that's it's a tricky thing, and that's what I really do like about the standing starts, man.
I love them.
They're not an easy. I mean, you talk about excitement. I just love watching cars. That one car that's always going, all right, I can do this. Whoa! Just slides off wide.
We haven't seen a good one in a while, but I can remember back in like
the Alonso days when they're ramping each other,
or the Schumacher days. I mean. First turn was melee.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
First turn in F1 back then reminded me of a rugby match.
Right. So have we talked since Alonso was announced to Renault?
No, but before we get to that, or no. Yeah, let's get to that.
So Alonso is going to Renault. We talked about this early in the year. We kind of stepped away and said, you know what, I don't really see this happening because that bridge may be burnt.
And I thought that relationship was kind of on the outs, because the last time that Alonso did run for Renault, he kind of badmouthed the power plant. And,
right.
But from what I read, the relationship stayed pretty good. And this is Alonso's 3rd time in a Renault.
It's the only time an F1 driver has gone 3 stints with one team. Mm-hmm. So interesting to see how this all plays out here. Interesting to see how Alonso is going to get along with, how do you say his name? Cyril or
Cyril?
whatever the dude's name is, the president over.
I'm going to tell you this much. You know, we've watched the Netflix series and seen Cyril and how he talks to the drivers.
Right.
He's not going to talk to Alonzo like that.
No, not
you know what?
bit.
Alonzo will go take his helmet, put it in his bag, take his shoes off. See you guys later.
It was nice knowing you. Appreciate.
Alonzo will not deal with that.
Appreciate the
I'm
cash.
going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he does come at Alonzo like that, Alonzo will come right back at him like that. Alonzo's not scared of these guys.
Absolutely. Right. No, not at all. So that is something I look forward to. And it'll be interesting to see how Ocon works with him. If Ocon is smart, he's going to sit back in the wing. He's going to learn as much as he can by watching.
He should.
By sitting back and watching that guy do whatever he can.
He should pay attention to Alonzo's routine every time he gets in and out of that car, and you should practice to do the same routine.
Yep.
I mean, you adjust it to how you are and everything, but still, you see that, and I mean, Alonzo's a world champ, multi-time world champ. You know, he's won at about every track. He's won in different series. I mean, there's no hiding that I'm all about some Fernando Alonso.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I hope that you know, they can get their issues worked out at Renault.
They're starting to look a little
better. I mean, Danny Ricks had some good runs past couple
Ricardo's
weeks
starting
ago.
to look a little better in that. I think he'd be a lot better in that McLaren right now, but it's neither here nor there. He's black and yellow right now, and he's doing what he can to.
But you have to look at it this way too, bringing Alonso in. Yes, you can say Danny Rick's a veteran driver in that car, but he's only driven the Red Bull besides the Renault.
Absolutely. And Alonso's driven.
Alonso's been with he's driven Ferrari. He drove McLaren.
And he's been through a lot of mini changes on that car, too.
He's been through different, you said different styles of the car. So Alonso's going to come in. He's going to be able to give you mega feedback.
Dramatic changes. Like I'm looking back at his first car in my head. Man, that front wing is nothing like it is now. They got the diffuser back then.
Was that the tier wing?
Exactly.
It was all like,
yep. So there's
and the nose sat up here and the wing come down.
Yep, exactly. So I mean, you got
I like those cars.
Oh yeah, and it sounded fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So that was the best sounding car in F1, I think.
No, because when they had the V12s.
Oh, see, I'm gonna have to listen back because that was a V10,
V12s,
wasn't it?
I think it might have been a V10.
I think it was
V12s. Whew.
But
I remember going out to the Speedway the first year we had F1 because, you know, I've been an F1 fan for years. Like, I got to see these cars. I got to see them. Coming down that main straightaway in between those walls, I mean, those things howl like a banshee. I mean, they just scream. You had to put your fingers in your ears because they were so loud.
Yeah.
I mean, they wrapped those motors like 18,000 RPM. That's insane.
Yeah, that's you are whistling.
Yeah,
you're not howling. You're whistling. That point is a very loud whistle. So no, I am interested to see, and especially what can Alonso do. I wish he was 5 years younger, and the reason I say that because I wish you could progress through this new car.
Yeah,
and really put it out there. And I wish Hamilton was 5 years younger for that matter.
I don't.
I want to see what he could do with an even car, if you will. That's why I really wish Hamilton, those guys.
I've never been a Hamilton fan.
I've
never been a Hamilton
but
fan.
he's a driver. You can't take that away from him.
I'm not taking nothing away from him, guy. Not taking nothing away from him whatsoever. Lewis is one of the best that's ever been in an F1 car. You cannot deny that. But I just something about him.
I think you and a lot of other people would agree with that. You love him or you hate him. It's very few people.
That's a lot of F1 drivers. I mean, there's always been, you know, those drivers like, man, I don't like that guy whatsoever. That's like when Montoya. I couldn't stand Montoya.
Right.
I thought he was the biggest pompous ass.
I didn't like Montoya either at all. I didn't like him in IndyCar.
No.
I didn't like him in F1. I didn't like him in NASCAR.
No.
So, no, absolutely, I agree with you there. But, so it'll be interesting to see that dynamic, like I said, between those guys. But down the line, we're still hearing rumors of Sebastian Vettel in the paddock next year, which kind of blows my mind because at that point, are you really going to kick Perez out?
I would.
You know Stroll's not going anywhere.
I would. But you know what? You look at the results here lately. Take today, for instance. Stroll's outperforming Perez. Stroll is outperforming Perez.
Perez got that. Didn't he? Did he land a podium? Perez landed a podium.
Okay, so one podium versus all the points paying positions that Stroll's had. I'd take Stroll's performance over Perez's.
And he might have that up and coming, if you will.
Perfect.
But
Let me look at the points on this.
It'd be interesting to see because I really think Perez in a evenly matched car is going to be a force to be reckoned with out there.
I take that back. Perez is actually 6th in points, and Stroll's 8th in points, 4 points behind him.
So I mean they're close.
But I think the only reason that he's 6th in points at one podium,
right? So I mean. They're in a solid car this year.
He's at, hold on here. I don't understand what they're putting down here.
Did he not get that podium? I thought he did.
Well, but see, look.
2 season podiums.
It's saying 8 podiums. Is that 8 podiums in 2 seasons? Because I don't remember him getting any podiums last year.
No, it'd be 8 total.
In his career?
Yeah. Yeah, because he's a solid driver. Perez is a solid driver. But I guess if you look down the line, the only person I see stepping out of a car right now outside, if Perez would get the boot for Vettel, would be Perez going to Haas in exchange for Grosjean.
I could see that.
And Grosjean being out.
But I've also heard talks of Hulkenberg maybe coming back too.
And you look down, it's like, where are you going to go? He came in and he went into a sports car over there in overseas. I can't remember. Was it one of the V8s?
That's a good-looking car, too.
It really was. That black and orange. Yeah, that
Lambo,
was sharp.
wasn't it?
I think it was.
Is either a Lambo or a McLaren?
You know, it was a Lambo or a Ferrari, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't think it was a Ferrari, so I'm going to say it was a Lambo. Yeah.
But yeah, black, orange, and white. That was good looking.
That looks sharp there.
But I don't think you can. I don't think Vettel's done.
I just think
that
either.
He's unhappy in the current situation he's in.
Right.
Because I think ever since that Ferrari's brought Leclerc in, he's just got kind of pushed to the side, and they've made it obvious that, Leclerc's their boy.
Right.
So I think Vettel, whoever he gets with, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder to stomp that Ferrari in the ground. So... And you take a team like Racing Point, why wouldn't you want to bring Vettel in there over Perez? Vettel's ran, there again, you got Vettel's ran different cars. He is a world champion. Mm-hmm. He's won several races.
And then you're going to put him in Mercedes power.
You're going to put him in last year's Silver Arrow. I mean, that car is strong. That's a good car.
Oh, and that's proven. Absolutely.
So you take, and if I was, Big Daddy Stroll, what better way to help develop that car than bring a veteran driver like Verstappen in there?
Right.
You make him your number one, obviously. And I think he's going to get you some podiums and possibly some wins.
It's a good possibility there. So, I mean, we'll wait and see how everything comes out. I mean, people are still talking to Vettel.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of does he want to go and kind of really fight his way like he's doing right now in the Ferrari, kind of, because that's your first year or two. That's what you're going to be doing there.
Yeah, but I think here's my thing. When he come into Red Bull was kind of they were about like how Racing Point is right now. They had the car that had the potential. They just needed to get that driver in there and further develop that car. Vettel come into Red Bull at a great time. I can't remember who his teammate was.
The Canadian, wasn't it?
Canadian.
Oh, God. I thought it was the Canadian dude. Coulthard. David Coulthard.
Oh, David Coulthard?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was Coulthard. I don't remember who it was.
Oh, I'd have to look that one up. That one I'm not 100% sure.
But anyways,
back then.
So you had a good team there, and I would take Vettel over Perez if it was me and my team, and I'm trying to get to the next level. I would definitely take Vettel over Perez.
And I mean, he has shown more. Like he's won titles, so yeah, it's hard not to.
I think if you get him to where he's happy again, I think that's the biggest point. When we seen his meltdowns last year and stuff like that, I don't think it's anything personal. I think he's unhappy at Ferrari. He knows that car is not there. He knows he's bringing a knife to a gunfight every weekend.
Right.
So, and he's used to being in winning cars.
Right. No, and you are correct there. So, is there any other F1 news that you can think of?
I think we can wrap it, bag it, and stamp it, and ship it up the
There
door.
you go. Bag it, tag it. And now we are on to the next.
NASCAR.
We'll say NASCAR, but first let's hop over to some news you shared this week. Kind of threw me off guard.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, whoa. So Tony Stewart and some other big
Ray
names.
Evernham.
Yep. Going out and creating. I'm going to look at it as kind of like an IROC series right now.
Yeah.
But they're going to compete with NASCAR.
Yeah, it's going to be, what, a 8-race series, was it?
8-race series, dirt and asphalt.
And they already have a TV deal with CBS.
Yep. So the whole season is going to be aired.
All short tracks.
All short track. Like I said, dirt, asphalt, and here's the big kicker. And all people, Ray Everhand doing this.
He's
fixed setup.
And he's designing all the cars.
I'm good with that.
I am too.
But, like, all people, like, how many people, like, you better be the dude on inspections, Ray, because you're doing a fixed league. You would be the first person to be over there grinding on something.
I like the idea, though, because...
Oh, 100%.
Like, I can't remember the guy's name. We were discussing that article on Facebook, and he was saying about the fixed setup. I said, I like the fixed setup. It takes the car out of the equation. Then it makes it driver versus driver.
Right.
You can't go in and say, if I'd have put another round of camber in it and she'd have turned better. Ain't none of that.
Right. Now, was the IROC series, was that a fixed series back then?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, okay.
I think you had one guy that would go out and drive the car and put a setup on it and say, okay, here's the setup we're all running. And it wasn't none of the drivers in the series. Now, I know you could come in and change tires and stuff like that.
Right,
but
absolutely.
I
Your
don't-
tire pressure, something
yeah.
like that. But hey, those little things, I'm good with that, because that you do have. It's a team sport still. It's not just a one man show out there.
Right.
So I'm okay with that. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this. I think, and if it wasn't these two guys behind the scenes doing this together, I don't think it gets the notoriety it has. I don't think it gets.
Unless you had Dale Jr. in the equation.
Right, but he is so tied with NASCAR, I don't see him moving over there.
No,
I
that's
don't
NASCAR's golden boy
exactly.
right there.
I don't see him moving over. But what I do see is Tony Stewart and Ray here in a year or two really competing with NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
And giving them a...
Dude, bring me some short track racing. I want to see it, baby. Let's get them out here at IRP. Let's get IRP going again.
Right.
Because when they took the, what is now the Xfinity Series, because it used to be
And
the
brought 'em
Kroger
here.
200 out at IRP on the short track, that was a great Saturday night race.
Now, I'm not going to say that Xfinity race wasn't great this year.
No, I'm not saying
But
that.
when they went around the
you
oval,
can have
yeah.
both.
Right. No, absolutely.
You can have both.
But, yeah,
Because I was out at IRP when Carl Edwards got his first win in a truck out there.
Right.
I was there.
But that's what I'm kind of excited to see these bigger names too. Well, we really don't know the drivers. You know. And here's where NASCAR, I wonder if they're a little bit worried because that name, he owns a team.
Who?
Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
Are those four drivers going to come along into this series? Is Kevin Harvick going to leave NASCAR? Is Clint Boyer going to leave NASCAR?
Not yet. Now, in the Boyer, I could see that.
I could see Boyer
Because
gone.
Boyer is a short track dirt racer.
Exactly. I could see Boyer being that big face of this new series.
I didn't think of that. That's a very good point.
Yep, 100%.
That's a very good point.
Who else could go? Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
You look over there.
But I don't think Bell will do it yet because he's under contract.
Okay, who's the young guy in there? Look at Deegan. Is Deegan gonna maybe not NASCAR now?
Haley.
Is she gonna progress through into this series? Because you look down the line, and Tony's got his All-Star series with the dirt sprints.
The only thing that would keep Haley doing what she's doing is she's under contract with Ford.
But you don't think Ford's gonna be part of this?
Yeah, see, they haven't said what
It's
the
hard
power
to
plants.
not think it's gonna be Ford.
They haven't said what the power plant's going to be.
Like, yeah,
But it's hard to say it's not going to be Mopar because Ray Evernham and Dodge really had a good relationship.
Yeah, but you look at what Stewart's running now, and
But it's not just Stewart; it's Evernham designing
you're
the cars.
You're right. So yeah, I guess that's a good way to look at that there too. So I'm very excited to see much more information come out about this series here. NASCAR right now is going whoa.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of those old NASCAR fans that are leaving NASCAR right now, and they're gonna hop on this wagon.
And
real
you know
quick.
what NASCAR did to answer their announcement of that series? They put True Glow lights underneath the cars Wednesday night. Yeah,
I think that was kind of cool.
I thought it was stupid.
I think that's kind of cool.
I thought that was dumb as shit.
I think that's kind of cool. Not gonna lie, there, I do think.
I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
You look back, that's like when Bush did the burnouts. I thought that was cool. I did. I thought that was neat. Is it necessary? No, by no means is it necessary.
You know what they're doing?
Oh, they're reaching. Absolutely. 100%. 100% they're reaching out there. But I think you got to do something here because you're about to lose a good amount of fans to this short track racing deal. And then, like I said, so does Larson jump into this deal?
Yeah.
100%. 100% Larson. So you got Boyer, Larson. I mean, you're going to see some guys in this that
Dude, and then you know who else we could see in this? Because, see, this opens the door for a lot of things. What about Brandon Shepard?
100%. 100%. You could see, a lot of these guys that, because, I don't know if it's half and half. I don't think it's four dirt, 4 asphalt.
No, I think they're just kind of
maybe 2 dirts or something like that. Because
I don't know how they're going to select the drivers either. They really haven't said that.
Right. But they said big names.
Yeah.
They're saying big names, so that's why I'm saying.
Okay, so Brandon Shepard's a huge name in the dirt world.
100%. But
Kyle Larson, huge name. Clint Boyer,
those
huge
are the two
name.
that I really see is Clint Boyer, Kyle Larson right there. Once I saw that, not Kyle Larson, but Clint Boyer is what because you look, and maybe Stewart wants to run both of these guys.
Yeah.
So so he wants to run NASCAR team. So maybe all 4 or
Bubba Pollard.
I saw that. So what if you do open that seat in NASCAR and Clint comes into this series? That leaves you that seat open in NASCAR. We've talked about needing that open seat. Maybe somebody does step into that. But also maybe Stewart schedules this to run with NASCAR so you can do both. And we see a lot of these drivers kind of do both.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
You don't want to see the same drivers from NASCAR running this series. You
Nope.
want to see some of these.
I want to see. If you're going to do this series and do it right, to where you're going to draw a bunch of people in, you go out and you get, like I said, you get your Brandon Shepards, you get your Bubba Pollards, you get some of these guys.
I think Boyer's there for sure.
You take, you can go out to Speedrome, get one of the tunnies, take one of the tunnies and put one of them in one of the cars. I mean, you get some of these studs that are out here on these local short tracks, and you go and get those guys and put them in the mix and give them their shot.
Does Majeski
There you go.
run over there?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that would be a big shot for Majeski and something like that to really show that, because I think
We could see a Hayden Cardwell in this series.
you're exactly right there. I mean, you really
That's
could.
what this series should be about if you're going to do it and do it right.
You're right. No, I agree with you there. But you're gonna, you're always gonna.
Brooks says it's only 6 races.
Gotcha. I thought it was 8 there.
I thought it was 8.
Like I said, you are gonna see obviously though some of these drivers from NASCAR. Maybe they're not happy with NASCAR and they're gonna come over.
And
with
that's
this as
fine,
well.
but I don't want to see him hop out of their cup cars and go over here and run these short track cars and jump back in their cup cars.
Just because
I don't think this series should be about that.
I'm with you.
If you want to watch that shit, watch NASCAR.
Right. No, I'm with you there. So, and who else? I'd love to see Busch run some dirt races, but I'm with you there.
I'd like to see either one of the Busch boys.
Exactly. That's what I would agree with that. So, but that I think really kind of took the floor away from NASCAR this week.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
I'm excited to see that series really progress and see how that goes, because we were just talking last week or 2 weeks ago. We'd love to see an IROC series back.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got that. I'm not going to say isn't an IROC series, no, but
it's
Santino
something.
Ferrucci. Would
Okay.
Ferrucci maybe do an 8 or a 6 series? So maybe you do see kind of those IndyCar guys, Connor Daly, make a run for something like that as well.
I can see that, but like I said, I don't want to see all these superstars or big names from other series come into it. You know, I can see if they're on their way out of NASCAR, like Boyer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then, you know, Larson, of course, is out of NASCAR. He's running sprints and midgets, so
It's a
what better way to put in there for
Larson.
him? And like we said, Brandon Shepard, Bubba Pollard. You know, some of these guys, you know, you take some of these grassroots stars. Like I said, they're out on your local short tracks, guys that you see week in, week out. I don't want to see it be, you know, Busch and Earnhardt and this guy and that guy. I don't want to see that shit.
Here's a question for you. This is a name that got a shot there, but didn't perform to his ability of what I thought he could, and kind of stepped it back onto the dirt side. Rico. Could Rico perform in this series in that short track style in a stock car?
Let's find out. That's what I like to see.
Exactly. That's that. I do. I agree there. I think that could be.
I would rather see that than 15 NASCAR Cup guys go get in these cars and run.
Right.
I don't want to see that.
I'm with you there. I would agree with that there, but I think just because of who he is going to bring some of those names over with him. So at least for these first few years, but I think this is, like you said, it is a great and a very interesting way to. Maybe this is what NASCAR needed to get back to what it is.
What about Ken Schrader? He's out there tearing it up on the dirt track still.
I was going to say Wallace.
Rusty?
Kenny.
Why not?
Why
not put Kenny Wallace out there? He's a dirt track guy.
You want to bring entertainment to the thing, man? Yeah, absolutely. And allow fighting. You got to allow fighting. You're Stewart, man. You got to allow fighting. So, no, I think that, and like I said, NASCAR might be worried right now. They might be afraid, but maybe this is what NASCAR needs to be back into that top tier racing, because nobody's competing against NASCAR. Now they have that competition. Now they have to say, okay, we have to step back. It's not just tossing out Happy Meals now. We have to step back and we have to do something. We have to make this better than this on CBS, or we're going down. So maybe this is what NASCAR needs.
NASCAR needs a whole new revamp.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They might get it after this. That's what I'm saying.
You need to take these stage races out. To me, I think that sucks.
And that's them trying. That was them trying to do something. But yes, at this point, you have to step back and say, hey, we messed up. I don't think they want to step back and say that with the stage racing.
Your points deal you do at the end of the year, or whatever, the shootout or whatever the hell it's called. Get rid of that. My thing ever since they started that points crap like that is, so you're telling me if I go out in the first 6 races of the season and I dominate and win those first 6 races and I got a just big points gap on you,
it means nothing.
Then at the end of the year, you're going to take all that away and level it back out.
But in all fairness, I don't think that's NASCAR. Yes, they made the rule, but why? Because the fans were saying, come Homestead, we're not even watching for anything. The championships decided 3 races ago. That was the fans that came out and said they don't want to see that.
Well, that's not true race fans then. True race fans, I think the fans that said that were the ones that, well, Dale Jr., he's back here and he's not getting up there, so we need to take all the points back and level it out so Dale Jr. can be in there and have a chance to win a championship.
Well,
if you go out and perform all season long, the reason they did that, and it was NASCAR that did it, the reason they did do it is because the year Matt Kenseth won the championship and never won a race all year long.
And fans went nuts. The people were like, oh, you shouldn't be able to win a title.
Yeah, well, that's not a true race fan. Because if you go out and you perform week in, week out, whether you get a win or not, a champion's not about how many races you win. A champion's about how you perform week in, week out, all season long, and had a championship performance for the whole season.
And I got to stick up because I wouldn't usually stick up for these people, but Dale Jr. fans, you gave them a bad rap there because they were the ones that didn't want the changes because that man was in a top 5 every week. He just couldn't win.
I just use that as an example.
I know, I'm with you there, but that's the guy that didn't want the changes because he'd have had 3 titles. He'd have been over there going, yeah, now my Hall of Fame, I don't have to hear all you guys say I don't deserve it because he would have won those. But no, I had to make that clear there because I know some Junior fan in there is going, whoa, 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 whoa. So,
all right, not Junior. Jimmy Johnson fans, how about that?
So, no, absolutely.
Where's Kyle at when you need him?
But that is right there is where, yeah, exactly. Right there, that's where you got to sit back and say, so many people wanted changes, but now I think, like I said, NASCAR's too proud to admit that they made the wrong changes.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, they'll never admit that.
No, but they're trying to adjust these stages. It's like, stop adjusting them. I'm with you. Just take them out. If you want to do something, do a competition caution. I don't know. But, yeah, like I said, it's NASCAR's falling back. There's a lot of people walking away from the sport. COVID-19 hit NASCAR at the time. It did not need to hit NASCAR because now you took the fans out of the stands. And I'm not going to say.
Not that there was a lot of fans there anyways.
Because you came back and you had a great TV presence. But with this coming, it's worrisome for NASCAR. You know France is back there, and he's trying to figure out what the heck to do now. He's stepping back, and they're trying to. Do I fake punt? Do I run? Do I throw? I don't know. Can we toss the coin again? Because they're I think right now in the NASCAR board meeting, it's a little hectic.
Yeah, it's NASCAR's not what it used to be, and we've discussed this before. With the when the IRL cart split, that's what really kind of did it in for IndyCar, and that's when NASCAR really shot up.
Yep.
And then to me,
it's like ebbs and flows.
It is, but to me, when Dale Sr. passed, that's when NASCAR really started going on a downward spiral. To me, it didn't have the aura that it used to have. Dale Sr., love him or hate the guy, people would watch week in, week out to see what he did. See if he was going to dump somebody in the fourth turn for a win, or if he was just going to go out there and kick butt. I mean, you need that guy, and right now NASCAR doesn't have that guy.
You got Busch. Kyle Busch, you could say, is that the guy people are watching in NASCAR, if you want him to win or you want him to wreck. But
kind of, but it's still not the same.
You don't have that. We've talked about this before. Is you don't have the Earnhardt-Gordon rivalry.
And they're trying to create a rivalry. They've tried to create a couple.
they're
and
trying
it's just
to
not working.
No, I agree with you on that.
Let's get into the Xfinity race yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle Busch takes the checker.
Yep.
But it gets taken away from him because he didn't pass inspection. So Austin Cindric wins his 3rd race in a row.
Yep.
So not only does he get his first oval win, he's got 3 race wins in a row.
Or is it 2?
It's 3.
Because he didn't win Indy. So they've had 3 races since. Okay.
It's
Man,
3
that
races
came
in
quick.
a row.
God, slow down, time. Slow down.
And we've discussed it before. I'm telling you, Cindric's going to be in the Blue Deuce next year.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the Blue Deuce. Keselowski's going to be in the 48 car. And then I'm really thinking that
Briscoe's got
either
a shot
Noah
somewhere.
Gragson or Briscoe ends up in the 42 car at Ganassi.
I could, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because now that I hadn't really thought of Ganassi as as a need for anybody. But yeah, Kenseth's not going to be there next year. He's pretty much set. I'm just filling in.
Right.
So I think I really do think Briscoe, as long as he keeps this run going like he has, I just think Briscoe looks like that
he's tough.
Better, yeah.
He's tough.
And you give him something, and these guys haven't had that opportunity.
And he's a Indiana boy on an Indiana night.
So you a lot of these guys haven't had the opportunity to hop into the Cup side and get these rides that other guys that we've seen in the past. So maybe, and we talked about the great rookie class last year, the great rookie class this year.
And Cole Custer gets his first win last weekend.
Yep. And then next year, you're going to have a solid couple guys that are coming out there. So NASCAR, it's not for a while it was daddy's money. Daddy's money was getting you up into the Cup.
Now you're getting some talent coming.
Guys that were hopping series. Exactly. Now you're starting to see these guys that they might have daddy's money,
but they can drive.
They're driving through the series.
I mean, you can say, Austin Cindric, well, his dad's Tim Cindric, and that's the only reason. No. I think even if his dad wasn't Tim Cindric, the way that kid drives and the way he performs, he's going to get a ride in Cup.
You're right, but I will say because his dad is Tim Cindric,
he's getting that ride at Penske.
Exactly. Yeah. But you're right. He was a driver regardless. That's the thing about that. You are a driver regardless, but sometimes it is about who you know.
So if Cindric goes to Penske in the Blue Deuce, look at that team. You got Joey Logano's the veteran, which he's not even 30.
Nope.
Then you got Ryan Blaney, which he's like 23, 24, 25 maybe.
And Blaney's a really big. He's up and coming quick.
Yeah,
quick.
And then you'd have Austin Cindric. Man, you got a team.
Absolutely,
you got a team.
Absolutely there, and you could really say that at that point Logano's your weak link. You give Cindric a year or two to see how he progresses.
Blaney still hasn't shown that consistency yet. He's
has Logano though.
Logano's won championships.
Well, and I'm with, but give Blaney 6 years.
Okay, but I'm just saying, Blaney's kind of like I think of Blaney, and I like him. Don't get me wrong. He's kind of like where I put Chase.
Mark Martin.
He's kind of like where I put Chase last year.
Gotcha. He's got
a couple. The potential. He just needs to get that consistency and start stringing those finishes together.
Right.
And he's getting there, because he's been running pretty good week in, week out, but he's had some mishaps. Not that it's saying it's his fault, but you just got to be able to string those consistent finishes together.
Right. Absolutely. There. And you are correct, but I do think that's where being on Penske's team is going to benefit you, because that guy's going to sit you down and he's going to be like, hey, you were a little impatient last week. You need to work on that. And he's just going to probably very calmly, very nicely, but you're going to know that when he's talking to you, that means, hey, I got my contract on the back of my mind. You might want to perform a little better, because that man means business. So
that's business.
Absolutely.
BITNESS. Business.
So looking forward to today, going to Texas. Should be a solid run there.
Oh, and last week wasn't that their first time back in Kentucky in a while?
Was it? They haven't raced there in a while? Heck, I can't even think.
Or was that IndyCar hadn't raced at Kentucky in a while?
IndyCar has not raced there in a while.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because they haven't raced there. I thought NASCAR was still there for a bit.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Because that's what Dad and I were talking about. It's like, man, they need to bring IndyCar back to Kentucky.
They really do.
But, yeah, so we're looking for a good race here today from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be a little hot. It's going to be a
lot hot.
A lot hot down there today. So that track we saw in the IndyCar race.
Make sure you dust the boys.
That PJ, what is it?
Traction treatment.
Exactly. So obviously that was the old traction treatment. Mm-hmm. So I would assume that's going to be laid back down today. That's going to be that nice firm line. And man, that I got to admit, you give that traction treatment some good runs through the heat there, and these NASCARs can show us a solid race. And I think Texas is going to be exciting.
Yeah, I like that track.
Yeah, I think today's going to be
Even though they
exciting
kind of
race.
screwed it up for IndyCar this year, but I do like Texas.
Yeah, it was a. I can only imagine what Tim and the crew over there was thinking. Real quick, that's what I meant to say. Tim down there at AJ Foyt.
Yep.
They got a rule made for them.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
So
Enlighten me,
So Tim in the
Mr. Trowbridge.
Yep, at the AJ Foyt team over there. What was it? 2 weeks ago, they had the power that hose was getting hot water, and their driver Dalton
Collette.
Yep, was a little hot and was overheating. Tim's like, all right, we're gonna toss you a water bottle, and just make sure you toss it back to us before you go. So he takes a drink. He's all good. He puts it on the aero screen. And he goes, it falls into his lap, and he throws it into Andretti's box. So, unfortunately, I think they got the fine for that. But the next week comes out.
Oh, I see where they allowed him to.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's because of the AJ Foyt's team right there. So, Tim bringing in some rules into IndyCar there. Pull-offs is allowed to hand a water bottle. So they're trying to figure all this stuff out, but I thought that was pretty good.
I'm still waiting for him to design me a steering wheel for my sim rig.
Right. That would be fantastic. But yeah, just a little bit of
Could you do me an
Now
exact
you know.
replica of the new Corvette steering wheel, please? Thank you.
little now you know in IndyCar there. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, so we go to Texas today, and I think it's about time.
Got any iRacing news? Oh, where's Imperial Cup at tonight?
Ooh, I knew you were gonna ask that. I was on vacation last week. I have not looked up anything.
Where's John Etheridge when you need him?
Yesterday there, but I think
Are any of the Imperial Cup guys on here?
Monsters of Dirt is pulling into their championship week this week. So that'll be a fun one to watch. SRTV, obviously CWTV, and CC and LJ.
Yep.
Covering all that action there. Check out those guys.
I'm going to start making my return as soon as my muscle heals up to where I can.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's a little uncomfortable.
Friday, I ran a couple officials, and that's about all I can do. Then it gets sore, and I got to get out of the chair. But
I got my the IndyCar League tomorrow that I'm in.
Yep.
We do we won the championship last season.
Okay.
Did I tell you that? I don't know if I told you that or not. It was Thomas, Brad, myself, and Ayrton. We won the team title.
Okay.
There'll be a trophy in here soon. I can't wait. And I got most popular driver.
Imagine that.
I was the slowest on the.
Imagine
I was the
that.
slowest on the track, but I was like Dale Jr. on that one.
and in Tommy Boy's words, I'm a little weird, but I have fun.
Exactly. I like to party. I like to party. So, yeah. Check me out at CWTV. We'll be back this week. ECRS throwing down. That's what Scott made me this. Not congrats, but a big shout out to Scott. Check out if you guys are in the ECRS. If you join that.
Well, damn, Scott, I didn't get one.
They got. Well, I'm the broadcaster. You hop in the league there.
They run too early. I don't get home in time to.
That's it's because he's a night shift guy, so he's got to get out by like 9 o'clock. But yeah, the big shout out to him for making the shirt here, East Coast Race. Look checkers and records on the back there. So big shout out to Scott there for sending that. He sent me a hat too, so appreciate that. I cut him deals, man, in broadcasting. You gotta love it.
Tommy Boy gets all the hookups.
Big shout out to them. Big shout out to Gruntworks Custom Woods.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockstar Realtor, Shawn.nugent. That is, I like that. That's just a perfect. All these guys' information down in the description below.
It's over here on the side of the screen too.
Look at you. You got it perfect. And then, as always, got to give a big shout out to Auralex's. I love the crisp, clean sound we got in here. It's nothing better. Check out Auralex if you want.
And big shout out to ButtKicker Gamer 2.
Absolutely.
Feel what you've been missing. And right now, I seen the other day, ButtKicker Gamer 2s are on back order.
Uh-oh.
People have been ordering so many.
They
are
gotta make
backed
'em.
up. Yeah, they're backed up. They're literally making them right now. I think shipment date they said they're expecting is like first or second week of August.
So they're not too far behind.
No, not real far.
Don't let that discourage you. You hop on there, you get it before anybody else. So you don't want to be too far behind there. You don't want to be in the end of August. So hop on there now and do it now. Do it now.
I love mine.
And then I was with Miss Olivia this week.
Yes, you were.
And TypO Edits. We took long walks on the beach, long bike rides through the island, and maybe you got a lovely...
Seen some creepy things?
We did. Yeah, you heard all about that. There's some snakes, some gators.
Baby alligator.
Oh, yeah. do.
She goes, yeah, we seen a snake. And I was like, yeah, I don't like snakes. She goes, it wasn't a killer, though.
No. It was a little baby thing. But yeah, it wasn't a killer. To somebody it was. Oh, man. But, yeah, check out TypO Edits if you need anything done on your resume, cover letter, or love letter, however it may be. If you got somebody out there you need to get done, look a little more professional. TypO Edits over there. Check them out. And use BW Sports 1. Get a little discount there. 40% off. Getting big.
40?
With it. Yes.
Wow.
40%. She's just starting out there. So give her some business, guys. Show her some love. And then Spektrum Glasses. Blue
and
light
she was
blocking.
a Notre Dame cheerleader. I mean, just show her some love because of that.
Right. Blue light blocking
Go
glasses.
Irish.
I don't have mine on because I took them with me. And
You're what?
I got to unpack them. The blue light blocking glasses from Spektrum. Check those out. BW Sports 1 gets you 10% off there as well. Surprise!
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about it. I'm like, what?
So check out those. If you guys are gaming, you're watching that screen a lot, maybe you work in front of a screen all day long, you come home, you got a headache, you're a little restless, something like that. Check out Spektrum over there, Prospect Glasses in the description below. Like I said, BW Sports 1 gets you 10% off. I'm not going to lie, it shows us a little love too. So hop on there. We appreciate each and every one of you. It's time of the week now to throw it out there and put out.
What's it time for?
The Checkers and Wreckers Picks of the Week.
Roxanne.
That's right. We want you to join along with us. Pick your drivers here today.
I have no clue. I'm just going to guess.
Somebody you think's going to perform decent today. Maybe not win, but top 5. A wrecker, not somebody that's necessarily going to wreck, but somebody that should perform well and won't. And that dark horse, somebody that's not on a top performing team. Maybe they're having a little downfall right now, and you think they're going to have a good run today. So I'll start them out with my checker pick. I was really tossed up between Hamlin and Harvick. Those guys really have Texas down. Harvick's going to start a little ahead of Hamlin. I'm going to give it to Harvick today.
Okay. I'm going to take MTJ.
MTJ.
Martin Truex Jr.
Yep, going down with Martin Truex Jr. there for his.
He's due for one.
His checker. He's got one this year, but yeah, it seems like he is, and he seems like he kicks it in a little.
He's good on the short tracks.
Oh yeah, and like I said, he does. He kicks it in a little come the end of the season here. So last half has always been a good half for.
Hey, Damon's making his picks.
Martin Truex. That's all that right there. I don't think that's Damon. And then for my wrecker pick, I'm gonna go with the same team. There is the our brother over at Black and White Sports is saying. He says Elliott. I'm going to go with Johnson, a former winner here at Texas, but coming back from his little health issue, and then and then also on top of that, just he had glimpses of having a really solid season at the beginning, but it's
had glimpses of COVID.
Fall back there, so kind of falling off a little, and I don't think Johnson performs well today.
I can see that. Wrecker, I'm gonna pick Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon.
that team besides Reddick, they just really haven't looked good. Reddick's been the best on that team. He's been the most consistent driver on that team.
He's been pretty,
and he's the rookie.
Well, Dillon's got like 3 or 4 top 10s, so he's collected a few top 10s. But no, they should be doing better than that at this point, I would think. So Downing agrees with me on Harvick. on the checker there. I go to my dark horse, a winner of this race many a times in the Xfinity Series, and he's shown glimpses this year. I'm going to go with Eric Jones.
Okay. I don't know who I'm going to pick. I'm going to throw one out there. I'll pick Dylan's teammate, Reddick.
There you go. And he has shown, man, he has been up there lately. He's really starting to kick it into gear there, kind of getting comfortable inside that team and seeing what he can do. And, man, he gets hot, a little slick today. That dirt track style might show very interesting to him. So, very, very good pick out there. Downing throwing Blaney out for his dark horse. We'll allow it this time.
Yeah.
One more win, and Blaney's got to get off the dark horse the dark horse list there, though. But
Daniel going with Matty D. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, that means he'll have top 5 today.
Right.
And if you're betting Vegas, bet Matty D on the top 5 because he didn't. Somebody else did. So that's all we got today. Thank you so much for joining back with us here. Taking a week off, after taking a week off, I should say. So we'll be back at it. As always, got a full week of fun and excitement coming your way. Check out www.bwsports1.com
for all the happenings.
Exactly.
We ain't said that in a while.
No. And thank you all.
Oh, and real quick, before we sign out, on a sad note, we lost a big part of the karting community this week, John Martin. And Friday night, all the proceeds, all the gate money they raised at Whiteland all went to John Martin's family.
Nice.
And the race and Friday night was in his name. He was part of the development of the iCart. That's what I remember him from.
Nice.
And I remember seeing him at the track and stuff like that. But John was a very critical part in karting, and it was sad to see him go.
Absolutely.
Such a young guy too, younger than I am. He was Daniel's age.
Wow. Yeah. Never good to hear anything like that.
Did you know him too?
I did not.
Because Daniel grew up with him.
I did not.
He said he lived right around the corner from your mom and dad.
Gotcha. Probably behind mom and dad there is what I'm assuming. But no, unfortunately, I did not. So, but yeah, it's never good when you lose somebody, especially when they're young like that. So.
Yep.
Unfortunate news, but
that's all we got for the week, though.
It's all it is. Thank you all for
bye, baby, bye. That was all she wrote. Peace. We're out.
Have a good